Come and join me today on my walk. Today I'm going to discuss lesbians. One of my favorite topics as of late. Maybe it's one of your favorite topics too. So if you want to learn what Dewey has to say about lesbians today, stick around. How did Canada get into the problem that we're currently in? Like where did we go wrong as a nation? As a once proud nation that was overwhelmingly proud to call themselves a Canadian and proud to say they're from Canada. When people left for Europe on backpacking trips, when people left for tropical destinations, Canadians were always received as good people, as a strong, freedom-loving nation. Now, not so much. Like I don't know if I've said too many times in my videos, but Canada is currently a post-national country, and that was by design. So we gotta trace back to where the problems started happening, and I call them problems because, you know, I grew up in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and you know, I've experienced some of the best things that Canada has to offer, and I can assure you the way the country has gone, especially in the last 10-11 years, and we know why it has gone the way it has in the last 10 or 11 years, because a radical leftist government was installed in 2015. We all know this. Now, if you're on the liberal side of the aisle and you think you have moral superiority, you think you have 4 or 5 degrees framed in mahogany in your library with many leather-bound books, you don't want to hear this sort of nonsense coming from a guy like me. And I understand that. Well, I don't understand it, but I understand what your mindset is. That's more importantly. I understand what your mindset is. And it's a dangerous mindset, and it's a dangerous ideological thought process that you possess. So, you know, World War I, when we went over with our Canadian Expeditionary Force during World War I, we had some key defining moments as a country. Many battles over there where it was recognized that the Canadians punched above their weight. Okay, I can get into a few of those. That's not what this video is about. We fought hand in hand and side by side with other allies, and including the United States later in the war. I'm going to get back. I'm going to touch a lot on the United States. So then we made it through World War I. We went through a depression. Then we started to have an industrial boom in Canada. Then World War II came, 1939. We were involved in World War II from the onset to its completion. The Americans didn't join until December of 41, and we know why that happened, right? Pearl Harbor.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Why don't you walk over here? It's easier.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Come over here, man. You get lost over there.
I know.
Hey, see you, man.
Thanks, see ya.
I recognize that guy. I think he's Vietnamese. Good guy. You're walking in the deep snow. Then World War II came about. We stormed the beaches in Normandy on June 6, 44, alongside of the British and the Americans. So we have a long-standing history with the Americans. Obviously, we still have a tight, evolving history with the UK, because we're still considered a Commonwealth country. So we've never really relinquished the monarchy aspect of our government. So how are we now going with a country, or siding with a country like China over a country like the United States? How did we get to this point? How do we allow, in my estimation, a little evil psychopath, narcissist, to go and make agreements with China that aren't going to benefit our traditional way of life here? It is not. The agreements or his mindset, how he's aligning himself politically and strategically with China, isn't going to benefit the short term, and it isn't going to benefit definitely the long term of this country. For decades now, we've, in this country and in traditional Western countries, the males have been feminized. They've been ever increasingly beta feminized, and you can tell the way the direction has gone, because weak men create hard times, and that's the honest to God's truth. We are in hard times right now, and they're going to get a lot worse, and it's from weak men. We have a lot of women, mostly white, liberal, Karen type women. We all know the type now, because they are being brought to the forefront, or brought to higher levels of attention daily for their actions, whether it be in Canada at demonstrations, or predominantly right now in North American news and world news. It's in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The front lines of all these ICE protesters, the front lines of all the Antifa protests, the Black Lives Matter protests, it's white liberal women mixed in with a large contingent of white beta feminized Karens, males. Then you have your Hispanics, and you have your blacks, and you know, I guess a couple Asians are peppered in there. I don't know. I don't see too many Asians. They seem to mind their own business. So I'm going to put up over here a few people that are relatively famous, well-known white Karen activists. 12 of them I'm going to put up, and they are all lesbians in my estimation. Why are, and I'm going to single this group out, and I don't care how it sounds because I'm past that point, but why are lesbians so angry and so involved in local, state, provincial, and federal politics? Why are they so involved? Why? And when I mean involved, I mean frontline volatility, frontline aggressiveness. You got to ask yourself, what is the root cause of this? I understand feminism, has been around for over 100 years, right? And I grew up with feminism to a certain extent. Now I am isolated from that movement. I'm single, and I don't really want to associate someone that is a hardcore feminist, because ideologically we're not going to align. And unlike most radicalized feminists, they can't have a common sense dialogue with someone. They want to get aggressive, because when you start poking holes in their ideological stance and their argument, they become violent and they become hostile, so you can't have a rational conversation. And we all know, if you ever tried to have a rational conversation with someone that is so far left leaning that they can't listen to what you have to say. They are just waiting for a break in the conversation so they can interject with their vitriol, the playbook rhetoric. It's just the same thing over and over and over. It's like it's on a loop. So I've done the best I can to isolate myself from that way of thinking. So I do have conservative women as friends, quite a few, thankfully. And it's refreshing whenever I, whether it be online, whether it be on text, or whether it be in person, it's refreshing for me to have those conversations and to meet up with these people, because you can decompress. You know that the conversation isn't going to take a dark turn. So, and a lot of the women that I know that are conservatives are good looking, which is a bonus, like very good looking. And they have a good sense of humor, so we can have a good laugh. So I'm fortunate that I have that in my life. And the unfortunate part, like today, for example, I'm in my local hydro field here, and there's lots of snow, so there's no one here. I wasn't expecting this to still be covered in snow. But normally in this park, which I've been avoiding for a long time, you will literally, on both sides, this is a common garden here, on both sides you will have white liberal Karens. I would say on a busy day there'd be 30 of them in here, okay, during the day. On a slow day, maybe 5 to 10. And they all have dogs. It's a good dog walking area. I don't begrudge them for that. But they come through here and they have a meetup group, I've been told from a friend of mine. And I've talked to some of them. I have. And because I'm a dog lover, and I have a tough time walking by people that have a dog and not saying hi to the dog. But a lot of times when you come near someone like a white Karen with a dog, They pull the dog away from me. It's like I have the plague, because they don't want anything to do with me. Their dogs do. I have a strange aura about me when it comes to dogs. Most dogs that I encounter from a distance will automatically gravitate towards me. And I don't know what it is. And dogs are generally very friendly to me. So, and maybe it's something I exude. You know what they say about dogs, right? They know the good people and they know the bad people. So a few times I'm coming through here, like obviously I'm on a camera, obviously I'm wearing all black, I look a little aggressive sometimes, a little intimidating maybe, but I just get a bad vibe sometimes. Sometimes I just can't deal with people that don't know me, you know, making it visible that they don't want anything to do with me. And it's not hurting my feelings, it's just some days I just don't want to deal with that, because you know, I don't have to. I want to touch on a quick story. I know I'm jumping a bit like I usually do, but I want to touch on a quick story. About 2-3 weeks ago, like I go on a lot of hikes. 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was out in an affluent area and I did a video. But I don't always have my camera on when I'm hiking, doing my urban rucks, because you know I'm doing, you know, sometimes 5 to 10 kilometers, and I'm not filming the whole time, so obviously I don't have my camera out. But I'm coming in to start my videoing in this affluent neighborhood. And I'm coming up to a house that's being renovated, and it's a nice house. They're renovating the second and third story. I guess they're gutting the whole house. It's over 100-year-old house, and they've been doing it for quite some time. It's all fenced off. It's legitimate contractors doing it. It's you know, porta potties there, all that sort of thing. So I'm walking by, and I see one construction worker. He's going in his car, but he just lit a cigarette, right? And I'm walking on the sidewalk, so he's wearing a hoodie. He couldn't see me coming, so I reach my hand out, because he was just about to turn without, because you know, your peripheral, that's why you'll hardly ever see me wear a hoodie. When I do, it's always back, so my peripheral's okay. But this guy's hoodie, because it was a cold morning, he had it pulled up, no problem, right? Not a big deal. But I touched his shoulder to let him know that I'm there before he walked into me. So in doing so, he was cool with that, no problem. In doing so, I could see a lady about 20 feet up coming at me. She was about my age, a white woman with a dog, coming my way on the sidewalk. So I move over. I'm on the right side of, you know, I'm on the right side of the sidewalk near the road. And she's giving me this mean, like dirty look. And I'm thinking, oh, what's she gonna say to me? Like, you know, I don't have my camera out or nothing. I'm just walking. But she, it appeared she was looking at me, but she was looking straight ahead at the construction worker. She walks, so the construction worker's about 8-10 feet behind me now. She walks by me and she starts saying something to this construction worker. So I turn around and she keeps on walking, and she's still muttering something to him. And the guy didn't say anything. So anyhow, I turn around and I go up to the guy. Now she's in the middle of the street, still looking back, muttering something. So I go up to the guy and I go, "What did she say to you?" And he goes, "Oh, she said to him, 'What are you doing blowing smoke in my face?'" Okay. So anyhow, so she was complaining about the cigarette smoke. The guy, I guess he was on the sidewalk. He was going to go back into the construction site, and he lit a cigarette. You know, people smoke still, people. I'm not one of them. I never smoked. But I'm not going to complain about a construction worker if I'm walking through his smoke from a cigarette. You suck it up, or you see him smoking, because she seen him smoking, walk on the street, go around him. No, but this Karen was looking for confrontation. Now, she didn't find it. She didn't find it with this guy. One, this guy was caught off guard, I'm sure. And two, what's he gonna do? He's working at a construction site for a company. I don't think he was the owner of the company. So what's he gonna do? Start getting into an argument with a lady that lives on the street, and he's working at this construction company? She's gonna cause a big problem. So he did the right thing. But if she would have did that to me, it would have been the wrong thing for her. I'm not saying I would have physically assaulted her, but she would have been tuned up verbally. She would have been tuned up verbally. Okay? So I don't have much skin in the game when it comes to dealing with people like this. I'm not a construction worker on that street. So my point being, the level of vitriol that people are walking around with in society these days is not being contained. They're not using rational thought. Okay, this guy, he was probably in his late 30s, early 40s. He's a construction guy, so he's in relatively good shape. You know what I mean? He works, he has a physical job, so he's not He's not sitting behind a desk. He's got to go up onto a third floor of a house. It's about 0 degrees out, and it's not easy to work in that environment, because I've done that. Number two, could he had a problem at home with his wife? Could he had a problem at home with one of his kids? Is his dog not doing very well today? Or is his cat not doing very well? Are his parents not healthy? You don't know what this person has gone through leading up to your negative interaction with him. So would it have surprised me if this guy grabbed her and laid a beating on her? Not whatsoever. It wouldn't have surprised me whatsoever, because that's where society is this day and age. You know, when I was growing up, do you think I would see a single white woman walking a dog and mouthing off to a construction worker? No, that wouldn't have happened. That wouldn't have happened. And that's where society has gone. That's where society has gone. People are walking around in a false sense of security, and that false sense of security is going to come to a drastic halt. It's going to come to a drastic halt soon, because we have people like Mark Carney running our country, because we have people like Keir Starmer running the UK, Francois Macron running France. So all this is going to come to an end, because these weak men are creating very hard times, and they're putting a lot of people into a delusional state, thinking they can go around and just get in federal agents' faces, getting in front of people that are carrying a Canadian flag and trying to tell them that the Canadian flag is a symbol of hate, a symbol of racism. How are we going to fix this? I get that question a lot in my comment section. How are we going to fix this? You know how we're going to fix this? I think it's going to take another massive rally to Ottawa to start. Obviously, the declaration of the Emergencies Act back in 2022, when Justin Trudeau and Chrystia Freeland enacted the Emergencies Act to stop the illegal protest in Ottawa. And now Mark Carney was involved in that too. He was the one that implemented the freezing of bank accounts. So Mark Carney was very instrumental in that. So it was deemed, it was an illegal act by the federal government against its own people. Then they filed an appeal to that ruling. It went to the top court, Supreme Court? Yeah, Superior Court. I don't know. I live in Canada, you know, I get those confused. And it was just determined that they upheld the original ruling, that it was an illegal act that they committed on their own people. Now, a couple people spent time in jail over this. They had to spend probably $1 million in legal fees. Tamara Litch and Chris Barber were two of them. So hopefully they're suing the government, and hopefully they get a multi-million-dollar payday, because what's it to the Liberal government writing checks anyways? They don't give a fuck. Write another check. But at least the good guys will get it this time. I'm not saying I'm going to start a rally to Ottawa, but I'll guarantee you I'll be at that rally in Ottawa like I was the last one. We're going to need a huge movement like you see in Iran right now, like you see in the UK, like you see in Ireland, like you see in France. Well, not so much France. France is usually a big Muslim riot. But we need something that is going to definitively unite Canadians again against a person like Mark Carney that, by all accounts, in my estimation, he is literally provoking World War III. You know, going over there and getting China to do his dirty work. And you know, then they come out. Then it was England, Denmark, of course, and France, and even Carney said they were going to send troops, and Germany. They were going to send troops to Greenland to bolster the military support in the event that the United States increases military action in Greenland. Well, first of all, the U.S. already have, I don't know, a couple 300 soldiers there for an old, I believe it's an old space base. And so Mark Carney even said that he was going to commit to send troops as well. Okay, so what mindset do you come out and publicly say you're going to send military troops to go bolster another NATO country against the United States, which is the preeminent NATO backing country. No one is bigger in the world militarily than the United States. So then, I'm going to put it up on the screen. You'll see who sent the military and how many they sent. You'll see it. So it's all smoke and mirrors. We're headed for a collision course with disaster because we've allowed this country to be taken by weak men. And these weak men have developed a foot soldier base of equally delusional and equally dangerous people. But the difference between a Mark Carney type person and other liberal politicians is they will start the fight, but they won't finish it. So they are sending people that have bought in to that insane ideology. They are sending those people into harm's way. It's not going to be the Mark Carneys that go fight the war. We all know this. It's not going to be the Chrystia Freelands, the Melanie Jolies. It's not going to be any of those politicians, and it never has. You know, why do you think back in the Roman days they never allowed the standing army within the city limits? It's because a lot of those soldiers were out, you know, kilometers away from the city, and they were talking like me. So now you start talking like me, and you're amongst other lions. You're going to start thinking to yourself, well, why are we dying for these assholes? And that's exactly what's going on in this country. That's exactly what's going on. Like, our military is decimated. Our current military is decimated. We couldn't send our military to go take the National Guard in Niagara Falls, New York. I think the National Guard there and the citizens would annihilate our military. I'm not even kidding. So we become a joke. We're a laughing stock in the world. So I think, like I said, we got to wait for the Davos speech from Trump, but I'm thinking we're due for another huge rally in Ottawa. That's what I'm thinking, and I'm sure someone will come to the forefront and organize that. It won't be me. I don't know, but who knows? Got any questions, comments, or concerns? Leave it in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Bye.